up is Pets and Friends, which our regular viewers know is not one of our regular features, but is nevertheless much loved by pet lovers out there. Now for this feature, we are featuring the Philippine Animal Welfare Society, better known as PAWS. We urge you guys to watch this to learn more about the society that works hard not only to protect the dogs and cats, but also to educate us as well on how to do our share in protecting their welfare.
This is the home of PAWS, the Philippine Animal Welfare Society, and it is also where they have the shelter and their animal rehabilitation center. We met up with Ms. Ana Cabrera, Executive Director of PAWS, who told us about how this all started and how the shelter is faring now.
PAWS was established in 1954 by a British woman named Muriel J. But she stayed around only for a short time. It was Mrs. Lichauco, Nita Lichauco, who took over, and she's Filipina. And she wanted a Filipino group that would protect animals from cruelty, because all the other groups back in 1950s were American groups, foreigners were trying to inculcate a humane organization into the Philippines.
PAWS was created to protect animals from cruelty or neglect and to promote a humane society. The misconception is that the center is there to rescue stray dogs and cats from cruelty. But Anna says that this is actually only secondary to their mission, which is to educate humans.
The mission of PAWS is to prevent. So by preventing it, we prevent the problem from ever arising in the first place. And this is done through education, through kapon or spay-neuter programs, because if you spay or neuter your pets, there are no sources of stray animals that would be more likely to be treated cruelly or neglected. And the more that people would put a premium on owning pets and be responsible pet owners. Our school programs focus on teaching kids that animals are sentient beings, that they're capable of feeling like us. And everything begins from there, because once you know that animals suffer, animals experience hunger, pain, thirst, then you don't need to tell them already that the golden rule applies to everyone across all species, not just human beings. And when you teach a child or even our youngsters respect for all life, then everything else follows. So,
aside from the school programs, PAWS also goes to the barangay level to meet with LGUs, where about the only animal-related program is rabies vaccination.
You can vaccinate all the animals in an area, but you will still not be able to eliminate rabies because you have not educated the people that the animals should be kept inside their yards or their homes. And secondly, because the animals you vaccinated, they've already reproduced. So the original number of, say, 100 dogs has now gone up to 200, with another 100 that you have not yet vaccinated because you did not think of spaying or neutering the animals.
Spaying or neutering, says Anna, will address the problem of pet overpopulation, rabies, and irresponsible pet ownership. The center survives mainly through donations, grants, and the efforts of their volunteers. Lawyer members take care of pursuing the criminal cases they file for animal cruelty, and core volunteers who usually come on weekends take care of bathing and walking the animals.
The shelter is running at a cost of about 280,000 pesos a month, and this amount we have to raise every time from donations of ordinary people, from grants, and from our own fundraising efforts. Like, for example, if we have an event for Halloween, we have a Halloween pet costume contest, and these are fun events that we can ask the public to join so that they can support the organization's programs.
PAWS is responsible for changing the attitude of many towards adopting an animal in a shelter. First of all, they discarded the terms ascal and aspin because of the negative connotation of the word kalye. Instead, they coined the words aspin for asong Pinoy and puspin for pusang Pinoy. They now have a better success rate at pet adoption, and even celebrities come to PAWS to show their support.
For example, when Sharon Cuneta came here to adopt a dog from us, we made a video about it.
Celebrities have the power to influence people, and PAWS is very appreciative of their support. To adopt a dog, one has to go to the center at least 3 times to get to know the dog that he or she wants to adopt.
We found that if we are willing to rehabilitate the animal for years, just staying with us, we're not about to let them go and give them to any Tom, Dick, and Harry that we don't know. So we need you to come because we need to see how the dog reacts to you. Sometimes it's not you, like you're a good person, you have the financial capability, but the dog is less, he's not a good match for you. Or sometimes there's an old person insisting that he wants a very active dog. And so we try to dissuade the person.
For cats, it takes only 2 visits. An adoption counselor conducts the interviews and guides the adopters on who would be the perfect match after checking on your future plans and the animal's future life with you. Only spayed or neutered animals are available for adoption. The adoption fee for dogs is 1,000 pesos and for cats it is 500 pesos. The center envisions a caring atmosphere for the animals that they have carefully rehabilitated and would release these animals only to people who would be responsible enough to make them a part of the family, hence the strict adoption procedures.
It's also a way for us to send across the message that dogs are not there as guard dogs. Meron kasi yung tendency yung Pinoy na they've classified these 2 things. They would buy Shih Tzus. So these Shih Tzus are in grooming centers, they're being walked. So dog-friendly places became purebred dog-friendly places by default. And then they had the local Aspin. And then they tie the Aspins out. That's the guard dog. And they're fed like kaning baboy or mga tira. So there was a discrimination. That's why we launched the PAWS Aspin Club. The PAWS Aspin Club wanted to hit back at all those groups like, you can't join our club because we're the Shih Tzu Club or the German Shepherd Club of the Philippines. We wanted to have a club of our own na all dogs are welcome, regardless of breed. And we wanted to say that we should, when it's a pet-friendly place, you should be able to bring out your Aspin. And your Aspin deserves the kind of life that you give your Shih Tzu. If you groom your Shih Tzu and if you have their dog trained, then you should also do that for the Aspins.
In other words, they are espousing malasakit sa hayop and not just simply being an animal lover. Business and Leisure posed the question of City Pound to the PAWS executive director.
The City Pound collects dogs so that they can put them down or euthanize them because dogs aren't supposed to be out on the streets where they pose a risk to fellow human beings or traffic risk.
Understandably, the City Pounds do not broadcast their euthanizing activities, which are perfectly within the bounds of the law. More commonly, people are made to understand that these pounds also endeavor to have the apprehended stray dogs and cats adopted.
I'm telling you, we're already in the business of adopting. And in PAWS, last year, we only were able to adopt out 38 dogs and about 42 cats. And we are PAWS. That's what we do every day, just encourage people to adopt. And we're not here, basically to euthanize. We're not.
PAWS lobbied for the Animal Welfare Act that was passed in 1998. The legislation is a first in Southeast Asia, though we are about 100 years behind other more advanced Western countries, which passed this legislation in 1898.
We're very active in trying to prosecute animal offenders because we found that people don't want to move in terms of making an affidavit. It's the Pinoy thinking na, ayoko maabala. I don't want, what will my neighbors say?
The shelter now has 235 cats and 82 dogs at the PAWS Animal Rehabilitation Center, or PARC, which was started only in 2001. They are renting this land and they badly need funds to sustain their operations. They need old newspapers, bleach, and detergent powder to clean the place daily, and dog and cat foods to nourish the animals. According to Anna, most people donate dog food, but the truth is they have more cats, so they need more cat food. There are 4 areas dedicated to the dogs here. The Dog Run 1 and 2, which contain the adoptable dogs, the recovery area where aggressive dogs are kept for rehabilitation, and the quarantine area for newly rescued dogs.
For cats, the kittenery, the cattery, and then the special needs cat area, and then the sick bay for the cats is there. And then we have feline quarantine, so 5 areas for the cats. We built this place not to take in as many animals as we want, but to take a few and to showcase this few so that we can show to either LGUs that, hey, it can be done.
In the center, people can go to ask questions, volunteer their services, and get engaged in their cause. At PAWS, they see the need to change the hearts and minds of humans because the fate of animals lie on the people who will take care of them. The message is that we have a duty to protect animals and to take care of them.
It is our goal to educate. It is our goal to influence. And because in the future, we would want the shelter to close down because there would be no need to shelter any more animals that are hurt. We would want to be rendered obsolete because people are educated already and they're keeping their dogs inside their yards. There are already no stray dogs. That is our dream.
This was started in 1999 by the center's president, Mrs. Lechalco.
We want to encourage everyone to adopt a pet instead of buying. We want you to spay or neuter or ipakapon ang inyong mga pets so that we don't contribute to the problem of pet overpopulation. We also want you to report animal cruelty, like do that affidavit if you have witnessed animal cruelty. And because animal cruelty is a crime under Philippine laws. We also want to appeal that if you have extra, the shelter is in need of old newspapers, bleach, detergent powder, and medicines for our shelter animals. And anything that you can share, we would gratefully accept on behalf of the animals. And if you also treat your animals well, I think that is the best thing that you can do because anything that you do by example will surely translate into better care and kind treatment of our animals. You can call 475-1688. That's the telephone number of the PAWS. Our office hours are 10 a.m. to 12, 1 to 5. Kindly avoid calling during lunchtime. Our Instagram and Twitter and Facebook are all named PAWS Philippines. And then check on our Facebook page regularly for events. This Halloween, October 22, we celebrated with our pets at Fisher Mall at 2 p.m. We give out special prizes for those who are dressing up their pets in special Halloween costumes. So the celebrities will judge which pet is the best dressed.
We hope you guys have learned a lot and appreciate the dedicated efforts of the men and women behind the Philippine Animal Welfare Society, or PAWS. This week's feature on BNL's Pets and Friends.